Since 2014, the European Union has in place several sanctions regimes against Russia in relation to international law violations committed by Russia against Ukraine. That means after the illegal annexation and occupation of Crimea and after the Russian participation in the invasion in the eastern Ukraine, the European Union member states and also some other states of the international community decided that this constitutes the violation of international law, and we need to react. And one of the forms of the reaction is imposing sanctions. That means sanctioning and punishing people or entities which are actively participating in or supporting those who are participating in these acts of violation of international law and violation and undermining of territorial integrity and sovereignty of Ukraine. So there are several sanctions regimes, there are several sets of sanctions, and in order to react to Russia's bad behavior towards Ukraine. When we talk about Sahel, we talk about Central African Republic, we talk about Mali, and here we see the malicious and dangerous activities by the Russian mercenary group called Wagner. The European Union is increasingly alarmed by the activities of this group because, and I mean, it's a public secret that this group is linked to Russia. I mean, there are links to the Russian state and to the Russian regime. And allegedly, Wagner is present in 23 countries on the African continent. The track record of this group, unfortunately, is not the best one, is not a very positive one, because there is a track record of human rights violation, looting in the countries, not really respecting the sovereignty of these countries. And furthermore, the legal status of this group is very vague. Their modus operandi, so their rules of engagement, their objectives and targets are also very non-transparent, very vague. So there is no way to ensure the accountability for potential human rights abuses, for humanitarian international law abuses and violations because of this ambiguity. And there is, of course, already actions which they committed and for which members of the Wagner group and some other persons and entities linked to the Wagner group have been put on the EU sanctions list for the human rights violations and for the violations of the international humanitarian law. Well, the dependency on Russia when it comes to energy resources and sources varies throughout the European Union. There is a certain degree on the average, but the European Union is doing gradually steps to decouple from the, if you want to call it, dependency on Russia. Actually, we are not dependent on Russia, but it's always better to have like 40% of your energy needs being covered by resources coming from Russia. But we are in the process of green transition. We are in the process of developing renewable energies and being less and less dependent on, not only on Russia, but on fossil fuels in general. Because, I mean, why do we need Russia? Because Russia has gas and Russia has oil and Russia has coal, but this is something that will belong to the past gradually. Well, Russia is an important international player. I mean, Russia, if it behaves responsibly, constructively, can do a lot international. And we work with Russia on big files, also on Iranian nuclear program. We work with Russia and the cooperation there brings results. We work with Russia on Middle Eastern peace process, and there also we have very similar objectives and views. So it is possible to work with Russia. And until now, it was possible to work with Russia when it comes to deals on energy. But we are prepared in Europe to really cut down on this dependency, and if necessary, also to look into the possibility of cutting ourselves off the supplies from Russia, because we know it will affect Russia more than it would affect us.